Hey everybody, it's Chris. I'm the Mad Respect, and it's time for this week's Cine video. They're back. Discount comic book service. Much bigger week than week one. Books from week two, and another package that came in this week from COMIXTRIBE. If anyone knows anything about me and my channel, you know who my favorite post-COVID comic creator is. And yes, there is a John Lee's book inside the COMIXTRIBE package that I ordered. I ordered it 2 weeks ago today, actually. Here it is. So, uh, let's start with a short little review portion of the few books I got in my first week's box. We'll start with Earth Divers, issue number 4 from IDW. This is by Stephen Graham Jones and David Guion Fleece, and it's part of the IDW Originals uh, initiative that they started in summer of 2022 and is continuing through this year. Uh, it's been pretty good. I think I might have to uh, take a rewind and do a full reread of the series at its conclusion because there are a few things that they said have happened earlier in the series that I don't recall already, and a lot of some more supernatural elements in the series as of this issue. As opposed to, thank you, my co-host down there, Travel with the Cat, is letting all the blinding light in and ruining my picture, but that's alright. Yeah, so it's definitely adding more supernatural type elements, whereas this Caitlin Yarsky variant shows something that doesn't actually occur in the comic book inside, but it is cool. But it does have something to do with snakes and this person in the yellow slicker, so it's kind of quasi related to what happens into the comic. And then we have X-Men Red, issue number 10, by Al Ewing, and I believe there's two artists on the inside of this bad boy. I'm not going to open it up. I have some hand cream on today for rough skin, so I can't look at my comics today without bags and boards, of course. But this pretty much ends the Abigail brand storyline of X-Men Red. Uh, the sting that Cable and WizKid set up for her is successful, and she tries to talk her way out of her crimes, where all of Roberto and the Shi'ar come and say, "You really have no leg to stand on here." So she uses Cable's body slide technology to body slide to pretty much the middle of nowhere. But interestingly enough, when she gets there, Magneto's friend, who he had made friends with on Mars, he's like the non-warring Iraqi old man type of character. He's there and he says, "You thought you got away, but haha, I'm here." So I guess she's gonna get her comeuppance there. And then Storm defeats Scott Summers' brother Vulcan by having all of the Iraqi mutants help her store her weather powers and water to put him out. And then they have him, after that, they encase him in some kind of carbonite sort of thing where he'll be kept until they can try to reboot his mind because he's in his conqueror mode that he had. When he came back from the resurrection profile, he wasn't a conqueror anymore, but Abigail Brand's machinations turned him back into the conqueror, so he's going to be in prison for a while. And then this series becomes Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants this month for the Sins of Sinister, either this month or start of February, I'm not sure. But it becomes Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants during Sins of Sinister, which I'm going to wait and get the trade sometime in the future of all of it. So, but it doesn't say anything in the end. It just says next issue, Sins of Sinister. It doesn't say anything about this being the final issue of X-Men Red, but uh, I read the April Marvel Solicits today, and that still has the Sins of Sinister Omega issue and the third part of the Brotherhood of Mutants story. So I guess we're waiting for the May Solicits to see if X-Men Red continues with the number 11. And this one I got from Economics and Comics. This was Children of the Black Sun. This is a David Romero homage cover to Something is Killing the Children. Font-wise, at least, it's not a direct copy of the A cover of Something is Killing the Children by any means. It has the Black Sun and the children on it. Has artwork relating to this book, not Something is Killing the Children, so it's not a direct homage, just a trade dress homage. But I will say I didn't like it. I read about half of it, and then I was already skimming through to the back end of it. And although I am getting issue 2, also from Economics and Comics, because issue 2 has a House of Slaughter #1 homage cover, and I like Somebody's Killing Children homage covers, as you can probably tell. So hopefully issue 2 is better than issue 1, but it's just basically, it's pretty much, it seems like it's exactly like Children of the Damned from the 50s and then from the John Carpenter remake, and it is more or less, that is the plot of the story. It is much like Children of the Damned. Here's Joker, The Man Who Stopped Laughing, issue #4. This is by Matthew Rosenberg with Carmen Di Giomenico and Francisco Francavilla on the backup story art. I will say I am enjoying the Joker's 70 rip-off backup stories more so than the main story, but the main story does take a step forward here. He's trapped in the hospital with Red Hood pursuing him on one end, and the doctors all pursuing him, and he's kind of caught in the middle. And he spends half the issue with some dying children telling jokes, and at the end, he meets an old woman who thinks through Alzheimer that he is her long dead husband. He says, "Yes, I am your husband. I'm going to take care of you." And then on the last page, it says that he's murdered this old woman, but I think it's more that he unplugged her off her equipment. I don't think he actually did a straight suffocation or anything of her, but it doesn't make that clear. But then he's escaped out the window, and the police are holding up Red Hood. So, but you find out that you still don't know if the Joker, who's in Los Angeles, shot this imposter Joker in the head in Gotham, or if this guy is the Joker in Gotham and paid someone to shoot him in the head and pretend to be him in Los Angeles. So that still hasn't been cleared up. And I forgot to order issue 5 last month on orders from Discount Comic Book Service. Among other titles, I forgot to order Hulk #12. I forgot to order Joker #5. I missed Dead Seas #3 from IDW. And Discount Comic Book Service still hasn't sent me my what's that? Radiant Pink issue #1, which has a cover that matches the Radiant Red #1 variant. Uh, and so basically, if by the time I have to finalize my orders for this month, I have not received Radiant Pink #1, which would be off. It's not in this box that I got the. I found out it was in this week's box or next week's box today. It's not in there, so I probably will find out what's in the following week's box before the end of January, or at the very least the first couple days of February when I have to finalize my order. And if Radiant Pink isn't in that last order for what do you call it, for January, I'm just gonna have issue 2 and 3 of Radiant Pink and read the trade from the library someday and not worry about it. And the final book from first week's box is Batman 131. This is by Chip Zdarsky with Mike Hawthorne is taking over the main artwork for this current arc, while Jorge Jimenez does Nemesis Reloaded with Mark Millar and Image. He had to complete that miniseries, so I assume this is just a one-story arc with the Mike Hawthorne art. But you find out that Failsafe, when he blasted Batman disintegrated him at the end of the previous issue. He has sent him into an alternate dimension of sorts, and there's a kind of like a dead man version of Commissioner Gordon that only Batman can see. So like a skeletized Jim Gordon, and then Harvey Dent is strung out on Venom a la Bane, and he is like the top cop in Gotham and judge, jury, executioner. And he either deems you sane or insane, and if you're insane, the penalty is death. And if you're sane, the penalty is you get thrown into Arkham with a character called the Red Mask, I believe it is. And there will be a second printing with Jorge Jimenez design variant of Red Mask on the cover on FOC this week. So, and I guess this is where someone told me online this week that this is where Chip Zdarsky was wanting the series to head uh, the entire time. So this next arc here is how he wants it to go. But I hope he doesn't mean that he wants mediocre Mike Hawthorne art to Jorge Jimenez, because that would be a shame. So hopefully Jorge's back after one arc, uh, or someone better takes over after Hawthorne, and that Hawthorne isn't the new series artist. Let's get into this week's discount comic book service order. Uh, here that I can speak on this week that I haven't heard anyone talk about online. At least nobody, no content creators that I watch, and I watch over 100. None of them discussed this book that I have in my box this week, so I will highlight it at the end of the video. End of DCBS part of the video. Here is this week's invoice, and we have 25 items for week 2, as opposed to I believe it was 8 or 9 for the first week. But I think that was also because I hadn't had my order fully paid yet, so I think they held a few books from week 1. Like I am finally getting Trojan in the next box, which should have been in the first box. And like I said, I still don't have Radiant Pink #1. I'm not sure why. Here we go. Kick off this box with here's Something is Killing the Children. This is issue number 28. And this is cover B by E.M. Gist. Nice cover. I've seen better E.M. Gist work. But, this is his first time doing Erica Slaughter or the Monsters, I believe, on a cover. It's still pretty cool. And then a second copy. Since I started collecting it monthly with issue 16, I've been getting multiple copies of all open order covers. Here is Star Wars The High Republic, issue number 4. This is a variant edition, cover C. Not sure of the artist. Let's see if I can see a signature. No seg. And like I said, I have the hand cream on, so I can't get in there and look at it. But that is cover C for the High Republic. And the second copy, all High Republic open order variants. I get a couple of and storing them in a couple short boxes in case it becomes content soon. Here's All Against All. This is issue number 2. Alex Pacmedo and Casper Wingard from Image Comics. Here is Star Wars The Mandalorian, issue number 7, chapter 7, The Reckoning. This is the concept art variant. I wasn't able to get any more 1 in 25 ratios after the first 2, but I have been collecting the concept art variant for every issue, which I'm happy they've had a concept art issue concept art cover for every issue. Here is another special cover. This is Ghost Rider number 10 with the classic homage cover, and I don't think it's gonna say who it's by. I think it's Phil Noto, but can't go Zen Deluxe, but it's an excellent homage. It looks this is the Marvel Spotlight #5 homage. Here's Carnage issue #9 by Rom V, and this one has Francisco Mana coming back on the main art, which is interesting because this is a Cletus Cassidy side story, from what I've heard online. Interesting that the main artist is back for a fill-in story. And whenever the main story keeps going, and Roge Antonio keeps coming back. Here is Crashing. This is the final issue, issue #5 from Matthew Klein and Morgan Beam and Triona Farrow. I originally had cover C by the artist from this is cover B by Allison Sampson, and cover C was originally by the artist of the image title with the Dream Hunter, which I can't remember the title of because I have such a short memory. But Slumber, the artist of Slumber, so I can't remember it. Here is Mindset issue 6. I believe this is also the final issue for Mindset. This is cover B by John Boyle, and that's Connor Boyle. Cover B by Connor Boyle, who took over the B covers, although through issue 4 they were solicited as Department of Truth guy covers. Here's Gunslinger. Oh, Gunslinger. It says Gunslinger Spawn again on an issue for the first time since issue 12, I think. Has been only called Gunslinger on cover and in Incendia on the inside for a few issues now, but this one does say Gunslinger Spawn, and this is this month's feature cover artist David Mack, who does all 4 covers. Next month it is some guy Rockin' Robbie could tell you. I can't recall his name, and the month after that, I believe. In a few months off the April, so it's Mark Brooks will be doing all 4 covers in April. Here's Star Wars: The High Republic. This is cover A, issue #4. And second copy. Here's The Dead Lucky. This is issue #5 by Melissa Flores and French Carlo Magno. It's the penultimate issue of the first story arc for The Dead Lucky, and it's part of the Massive Verse superhero universe at Image with Radiant Black. Here is Lazarus Planet Alpha one-shot, issue #1 by Mark Waid and various artists, and also art by Jean Louis Yang, writing by Jean Louis Yang, art by Riccardo Federici and various other artists. This cover is cover C by Francisco Mattina. Closer there, so you can see what's going on. It looks like a Poison Ivy mixed with Swamp Thing type of thing going on here. Definitely Poison Ivy. And there's lots of Terminator skull action going on here on the bottom. Closer look at that camera. Here's Moon Knight issue #19. This is by David Nakayama. This is the classic homage cover, homage to Moon Knight #1 from 1980. That's pretty awesome. Here's Dead Kingdom from Red 5, issue #4 of 5, the penultimate issue by Etienne de Perigny. It's pronounced it French-wise, if you know how that word is pronounced. But this has been a good series. Here's Amazing Spider-Man issue #17. This is a classic homage to Amazing Spider-Man #50 by John Romita Jr., who's the main cover artist on Amazing Spider-Man. This is one of the rare times I haven't got cover A for Amazing. Usually I always get cover A. But it's still by Romita Jr. for a variant this month. Here is Star Wars High Republic Adventures, issue number 2 from Dark Horse Comics now. This is Daniel Jose Older and Tony Bruno. This is supposed to be a young adult series, but it's basically a young character who is in the Jedi Padawan thing going on, but wants to become a pirate with Maz Kanata. That was where their heart lies. Here's my second copy. Issue 2. Only one cover on Star Wars High Republic Adventures this time around. Here's the series finale for Bone Orchard Mythos, 10,000 Black Feathers, issue number 5, by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino and Dave Stewart. Series conclusions this week in my box. And here's Something's Killing Your Children, issue 28, cover A by Werther Dell'Edera. And the second copy, 2 copies of all open order covers for Something's Killing Your Children. It was a pain, the arc before, because there was like 2 different Jenny Frison variants for every issue, so I had quite a lot of bonus things. Here's Grimm from Boom Studios, issue number 7. No, I think it's just 6. Oh, it is issue number 7. The first arc with 5 issues. So. Alright, issue number 7. This is cover B by Florentino, I think the artist's name is. Florentino. I'm getting the Florentino variants for this arc. The first arc 1 through 5 were Jenny Frison B covers, but more. Florentino is the artist. And last but not least, in this week's box, didn't think it was going to come. Due to the, what do you call it? The issues that Aftershock has had in December. This one, bankruptcy. I don't know why they put the. See, they put a bag and board in there because I paid for bag and boards for each comic, but since this is oversized, I guess they decided just to slide it in there. But this is, and they put it right in front of the cover. This is Eden. This is they call these Aftershock One Shock. They call these Prestige Plus format comics. This is Eden, and this is by Cullen Bunn with Diabor and Taliajic of Hotel. He did the art on Hotel and other AWA. He's kind of AWA houseboy. He's going to be doing the new Black Tape series. The art there in Black Tape, which will be by Dan Panosian. And I really enjoyed Dan Panosian's Boom series, so I'll be getting the Black Tape when that's what's coming out sometime later this year. So yeah. But now that this has shown up, I will be ordering this month's One Shock in this week's order. That one is called Little White Lie, I believe. But this is pretty cool. I haven't seen anyone talking this up on the YouTubes. Dr. Robbie didn't read it for a weekly comic book review, and the guys at Comics Elite, I don't remember them looking at it, but they were kind of off the second week, or between the first and second week. They kind of did like a weird video for the second week books in the first week because they were behind or ahead or something. I'm not sure what happened there, but it's a cool cover. Yep, Diabor, Taliajic, and Cullen Bunn. That's a pretty ripping creative in my mind. All right, then let's continue this video with my ordered a couple of things from COMIXTRIBE. I had 2 Fridays ago. So this is your last chance to use our 30% off coupon code. We've extended it through the first week of January, and I don't go to their site all the time, and I don't really use Facebook as much as a lot of people. So that's probably where they told people about this coupon code. I saw it at the 11th hour and was able to take advantage of the coupon code. But this is a John Lee's unboxing. This is the Halloween Comic Fest Quilt one shot, and a horrifying new tale from the creators of And Then Emily Was Gone, which was one of John Lee's first series for COMIXTRIBE. Uh, and it was by John Lees and Ian Laurie on the art here. And I'm not sure if this has something to do with And Then Emily Was Gone, or if it's a complete just one shot comic book. But I know there's also a And Then Emily Was Gone free comic book day comic by John Lees and Ian Laurie that I have to order on eBay in the future as I come closer to completing my John Lees completionist, get everything he's ever done. And here's another thing that I didn't have up until now. This is John Lee's first series, I believe, ever, and it was at COMIXTRIBE. This is called The Standard by John Lees with art by Jonathan Rector. And this is, I guess, straight up superhero fare from John Lees. But I'm sure there's going to be some sort of horrific activity going on from maybe the villain inside here. Okay, and the tagline is: "The Standard never lets anyone down." Never. So, I have never read this. I was going to order this quite a while back. They used to have it for $15 on their site for like discounted hardcovers, and then it went out of print at the time. And then, so I believe the cover on this is 35, but then I got 30% off, so I did end up paying around 20 for it, so not bad. And see, it stacks up to it is an oversized hardcover. I was worried about that because it came in the regular Gemini, but that's cool. It is an oversized hardcover. It's neat. Happy about that. Happy to get this finally and be able to read it. So I'll be sending John a message on Instagram telling him that I speak of his works again in my new video. See if he has time to stop by and take a look. But yeah, and also in this month's what do we call it? This month's if you're ordering from some place like Discount Comic Service for the entire month at once, I guess what is it called? My Comic Shop does that too. If you're ordering from some place like that, this is the month you're gonna want to order The Nasty by John Lees, his new Vault comic series by him and George Cambadayas. Uh, and in Saturn News, speaking of Aftershock here, it looks as if the last ride of Pillar and Pride is lost in the what do you call it? Bankrupt shuffle. It was supposed to be out in November. Nothing in November, all through December. It's now coming close to the end of January. Still haven't seen anything regarding Last Ride of Pillar and Pride. I hope they. I know they pay. I know they're part of bankruptcy. They have to pay him and the artist for it. But I hope they also, if they can't get it out, I hope they're able to return the work to them so that they can release it again on under their own speed. And final John Lee's notice. I got an email from COMIXTRIBE sometime this week, but I read it last night. It has the tagline and various lines of dialogue from Sync number 11. Sync is a crime horror series at COMIXTRIBE. Is just around the corner. It says in the email they're very close to announcing it. Uh, it introduces a new character to the series, issue number 11. Can't remember. It said what the title of the comic was in the email, but I don't have my phone nearby. But definitely super looking forward to Sync, issue number 11, and the rest of that arc. I know from the Kickstarter for Dig that all 5 parts of the next arc, 11 through 15, all have titles and short synopses, or at least character synopses, because part of the Dig Kickstarter was you could have bought your self as a character issue by issue to be a character who's murdered uh, in each issue, and that was like $500. I seriously considered at the time because that was like before I had gone back to work. It was still like COVID time. I was still out of work for COVID, but it was like I couldn't justify the $500 at the time because I didn't know if I was going back to work. But had I known I was, I might have considered it. The only one that was left at the time for me was like I think it was like the nosy bartender or something for issue 14. I can't remember exactly what it was. Something like that. Uh, One was you get killed by Busman Bob from issue 1. And then various other ways you could get murdered. And then there was someone had already bought the ultimate $2,500 Kickstarter level where you could appear in every issue, and you were like the neighborhood menace or what they call it. What do they call it? Anyway, so definitely a much bigger week than week 1. Sorry about that little video last week. That's still about the same length because I did quite a bit longer reviews portion at the start, and this time I was able to show off a lot more comics. But so I should have a video up next weekend as well because my next box is already uh, shipped this week for presumably next. But this all came from well, not this came from USPS, but this week's discount comic book service it came UPS and was handed off to USPS, where it ended up in my mailbox today. But my next box is FedEx, so it's gonna have to spend a couple days chilling down in Pendleton, Oregon, or wherever it is, wherever that place is in Oregon. It always ends up sitting there for a couple days, but so that box, and I already know what's going to be in the box following, because I guess they're caught up on the stuff. They haven't been like revealing my box contents until the day before they actually prepare to ship. But this week I know about them today on Friday morning, so that's cool. I'm going to be getting the Dark Knights Metal Omnibus 2 boxes from now. I'm really excited about that. I bought that 4 months ago because they do omnibus pre-orders at least 4 to 5 months in advance of actual release date. So that's definitely 2 boxes away from now. Next week's box is about the same amount of comics. I'd say about 20 or so. Uh, Maybe a little less. It seems like each week is a little not quite as crazy. I mean, there was like 30 and 40 books a week back there in December. December was kind of a crazy month. Same with November. Looks like things are chilling out a little bit, and I'm trying not to uh, pick up on too many more new miniseries, but there's definitely a really cool miniseries coming from Dark Horse in April that I just saw. Uh, can't remember who it's by, but then there's a new James Tiny and ongoing at Image starting in April. It's called Undertree or something. It's about the dark web. Uh, yeah, dark web. It's like children messing around on dark web and they unleash a monster of some sort of thing. But that's the new ongoing at Image, so I will definitely be getting all open order covers, multiple copies for issue 1 at least, because we all know what happened with Department of Truth, and before that with Something is Killing the Children. Whereas James's miniseries, Tiny miniseries like The Closet and Blue Book and stuff, it seems like those have kind of fizzled out, but his ongoings seemingly definitely got a lot of pop for the first like 4 or 5 issues up to the 10th issue from time to time. Unfortunately, not so much for House of Slaughter, which I'm stacking using copies of, but we'll see what happens with the content someday with Something's Killing Children. If they end up calling it House of Slaughter, I'm sure all my big stacks of House of Slaughter books might be worth something more then, but that's not what I get comic books for. The main part, I read my comic books. So, but I do have with Star Wars and with James Tiny and Archer's Peak type stuff, I am stacking it a little bit more so than my regular Marvel and DC fare, which I just buy to read. So anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble on. We'll see you next week in the video. Everybody take care out there, and we'll see you in the next one.